Hello all, and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration Fair for all North and South Carolina students. This fair is brought to you by CACRAO, and for those of you kind of getting logged in and settled in everything, just so you know, your camera and microphone will be off, and the only way you can communicate with the presenters is by using the question and answer box at the bottom of your screen. So make sure that if you have questions or concerns that you want to ask the panelists, that you're submitting your questions in that box. If you end up wanting to sign up for more sessions like this after the panel is over, you can go to our website, cacrao.org. That is CACRAO.org. And you can also find a recording of this session in a week's time at cacrao.org's website. Otherwise, our presenters can go ahead and get started.
Alex, I'm going to let you take it away.
You all hear me good? Awesome. I don't know if I can actually click on the slides because I think it's through, I don't know who's actually able to click on those, but I think if it's open through you, I'm assuming you'd have to click on them. So I just want to verify that before I try and do that part.
You should be able to, but if not, I can try to open it on my end.
Okay.
Is that easier?
Yeah, you pulled that up.
Perfect.
So welcome to everyone who's a part today. I'm going to minimize mine now so I can look at it. But we're going to talk about maximizing your transfer credits. So we're all going to touch base a little bit about each other, but I'm going to try and facilitate again. My name is Alex. I'm representing ECU. We also have Ashley with William and Peace University, Jill with Barton, and then Nancy with UNC Pembroke.
Perfect. So we can get started with some introductions. So as Alex just mentioned, my name is Ashley Murray. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions for William Peace University. I also am the person that works with all of our transfer students here. We're a beautiful, private, small college that's located right in downtown Raleigh and very transfer friendly. So by all means, if you have questions or anything, or you're interested in connecting, feel free to reach out to me.
And yeah, I don't know if you want to go back, but I guess I'll reiterate, if as you're watching, if you're on your phone or your computer, if you want to take a screenshot of our slides so you can have them immediately after use, but again, it should be posted up in a week or so for you all to look back and on later. But yeah, so if you want to keep there just for a second, give them an opportunity so you can look at it, have it to refer back to. Awesome. And again, I'm with ECU, so again, take screenshots of each of our pages so you can look at our info. But we're all going to iterate that, getting your applications in early will help you in the review process, and then look at which of us are also participating with the free app week that's starting now. For most of us, again, each of us will specify, but ECU specifically, it's directed at North Carolina students. So with that, it's free apps up until the end of 5 p.m. on the 30th next week. So you can go ahead and click next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jill Hilliard. I am the Associate Director for Transfer Admissions at Barton College. Barton College is a small liberal arts institution, and we are located about 40 miles east of Raleigh. We have a very beautiful campus and certainly very transfer friendly.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to All About Transferring Credit. My name is Nancy Reading, and I'm the Associate Director of Admissions at the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. We're located between Raleigh, Charlotte, and Myrtle Beach in Pembroke, North Carolina. And we're definitely a transfer-friendly institution. We love our transfer students, and I primarily work with transfer students. So I look forward to hearing from you. And our application fees are waived for all new applicants that submit between now and October 30th.
So I'll pick back up here. So kind of just first touching base on what qualifies to transfer. So you need to make sure that you're looking at those requirement pages for each university you're trying to apply to. What counts as a passing grade for that institution? What will they take as a transfer credit? Most institutions are, a C, but you need to specify, is it a C minus as a minimum? At ECU specifically, as long as it's a C or above, it'll count as a transfer-based credit. And then each institution differs on the number of credits they will accept as transfer. Some have a limit and some institutions do not. So that's another thing to pay attention to when you're when you're at another institution and looking at transferring, that you understand that limit. So if you're taking classes that may not count, that you're aware of that or cautious about how many you plan to take each semester before transferring in. And then again, age of courses. So, how long ago did you take a college course, and will that institution accept those too? So again, each of these is specific things that you need to definitely pay attention to in selecting your applications and talking with their admissions representatives when starting your application. And then the classes, does it fit into my program? Each institution has a different breakdown of a course guide. We actually have our articulation agreement with the community college system that's within North Carolina, that's easily transitionable for transfer students from South Carolina as well, where we list out exactly what classes you should take each semester while working on an associate. So it comes in, it's directly for the program you want to pursue as a four-year degree track. But then are your credits, accredited? Are they from a regionally based and transferable institution? Most of us look for, is the institution regionally accredited? And as long as it is, those classes should be transferable as well. And again, I'm just going to monitor the chat, but if you have questions about this specifically, let us know. Because again, the main point is engaging with each of you.
Perfect. So how do you find out exactly what will transfer? So a lot of colleges will offer something like a pre-advising appointment. They may call it something different, but it's essentially a time for you to sit down either with the admissions counselor or sometimes it's a member of the advising team, depending on who does those evaluations. And they basically can take a look at your official or unofficial transcripts and kind of give you a general idea of how much credit will be transferred over. So these obviously are super useful as a student for you to get a little bit of a preview of what's going to transfer over, kind of, taking into account the different things that Alex mentioned in the previous slide. They can kind of look at all of those for the specific institution you're speaking to and really give you an idea of what your past credits are how they're going to fit into your new program moving forward. Definitely connect with your counselor and ask them who you should speak to, because like I mentioned, every school does it a little differently. Some institutions do this evaluation process right in the admissions office. Sometimes it's advising, sometimes it's the registrar's office. So make sure that you're connecting with the proper person as well to make sure that you're really getting the best answers. And don't feel like don't hesitate to reach out at any point. We're here to be your advocates and to help you along and make this process as simple and easy as we possibly can. So by all means, don't feel like you're bugging us or you can't reach out about small questions. We want to make sure that everything's fitting. We want to make sure you're maximizing the time and the money that you've already put into your education moving forward. So we're definitely here to advocate for you. Generally, I do advise that you get an official report of what will transfer. For some schools, again, the timeline of that can happen a little differently. Some schools it will be, immediately after you're accepted. Some it's a little bit further down the line. So where you get that official report can sometimes change. So feel free to ask when you can expect that. And that's usually the final say, so to speak, on what will transfer in. That's a little bit more official than those pre-advising appointments that you may have. And again, these might come from different places. And also to kind of go back to a point that Alex made about thinking how things fit into different majors, I definitely also recommend just being open-minded about your major. So if you took courses, at the associate's degree level that maybe don't quite fit into what you're looking to do moving forward, maybe you did something that was a little bit more science-based at the associate degree level, and now you want to be an English major. Doing something like a liberal arts major, for example, might help you fit more of your credits in. So if you've got, 60 credits, for example, that you're ready to transfer in, you might find that one program will only take, 35 of those. And if you move and shift to a major that's very similar, but just has a little bit more flexibility with elective space and things like that, you might find that they might take the full 60. And you want to make sure, again, that you're maximizing the time and the money that you've already spent. So again, talk to your counselor, talk to your advisor too about what the best options for you. There might be things that maybe you hadn't thought of that might better maximize those credits that you're trying to transfer in.
All right, so the other thing that's important to look at are pathways and articulation agreements. So what is an articulation agreement? These are special agreements between community and technical colleges that make the transfer path smoother. So these are agreements that universities make with those community colleges to help aid students in completing their degree. Typically, they're major specific. So it might mean that you need to complete an associate in applied science and management at Wake Tech in order to transition into a business administration degree at UNC Pembroke. So you want to check for those articulation agreements and which schools have those for your major. There's also, like in North Carolina, there's the North Carolina Comprehensive Articulation Agreement. So if you complete an associate's in arts or an associate's in science, your general education credits are waived if you attend a UNC system school. Many of our private colleges in North Carolina also honor this partnership just because they want to make sure that you are maximizing, like Ashley said. And then there are some individual articulation agreements. In South Carolina, there are several senior institutions that have individual articulation agreements with the technical college system there. Francis Marion, USC, Clemson, they all offer different articulation agreements for associates in arts and associate in science students. Some of these benefits, it can really allow you to get those general education requirements waived, which is a huge portion of a liberal arts degree. It ensures transferability of specific courses. So if you have chosen a pathway like associates in applied science, that's going to help you a lot in making sure those credits transfer. And for some institution, it can guarantee your admission to your desired institution. So really making sure that you're choosing institutions that are going to take your credits and you're reading about these specific agreements on their websites is super important to ensure that you maximize your transfer credit.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about maximizing your time. So we that work in the admissions office, the greatest piece of advice that we can give you is to be prepared. Definitely do your homework, do your research about the different colleges that you're interested in transferring to. Come prepared, know your GPA, have an idea of what your cumulative GPA is. For us, we do require a cumulative GPA, which is all of your college credits. So if you've attended more than one college, then we will need all official college transcripts from all colleges that you've attended. Know about how many credits you have a good idea on that. How many schools are they coming from? Again, so if you've only attended a community college and you're transferring, this is new to you. Certainly our job as admissions counselors and working within the admissions office is to help make this transition as smooth and seamless as possible. So we're there to help you. We want to answer those questions for you. Just make sure that you've done your homework and you know where those credits are coming from and kind of where you stand. And also, are there any weaknesses you want to address on your transcript? So we are your friends. We want to help you. So this is a great opportunity for you when you meet with us or chat with us on the phone or either through email, is to let us know what's going on. If there are any weaknesses on those transcripts, those are good things for us to know. Again, we are your friend. We're your number one advocate. We want to see you at our institution. So those are kinds of things that we need to know. Again, official transcripts are required. So keep that in mind that from all colleges you've attended since high school, we will need those official documents. It's very easy for you to request those. You contact your previous colleges, and usually through the registrar's office or the records office, you're going to request to have your transcript sent to our admissions office. If you by chance happen to owe a balance at your previous institution, unfortunately, those colleges will not release those official documents until that balance has been cleared. So make sure that you're working on that, and then you are able to get those transcripts sent to your colleges that you want to transfer to. If for whatever reason your evaluation is returned to you and you feel as though there's a particular course that you had taken previously and you don't see that being given credit or transferring to your transfer college, you can dispute that. So I know for us, in many cases, our registrar provides me with your official transcript evaluation. She may request a syllabus. She may request a course description. So it's as simple as sending that in an email to myself, and then I will communicate that to our registrar's office. So just keep in mind, you definitely have a voice. If there are credits that you think that you've taken that should be applied for a particular requirement at your transfer school, then definitely speak up and have a voice. And one more thing I will say is definitely get to know your admissions counselor. We are there to help you. There's no silly question with us. Believe me, we've probably heard them all. So, reach out to us. We are there to help you.
And talking about top questions. So again, I'll just reiterate these and kind of drive home of you need to do your homework as an applicant of making sure, if you're at another college setting or if you're going to be at a community college first, that you understand which program you should pursue to eventually roll into a bachelor's program. Because again, what credits will be taken, like at ECU, if a student's, completing the AS track instead of an AA, more of those classes will transfer in. And so paying attention to that, of knowing what type of associates you're trying to work towards, so you have more counting towards your 4-year degree, so you're not wasting time on those classes. And again, just tying into transferring credits, making sure you do your homework beforehand of looking if they have an articulation page that you can do some research on your own to know, okay, I'm on track, I've got the minimum qualifications, I qualify for this school to apply, or I will at the end of this semester. And then are there special agreements? Some of the North Carolina-based schools, and as well as South Carolina, they have partnerships. Like at ECU, we have a thing called Pirate Promise, where the community colleges that are partnered with us, a student can enroll there and commit to ECU as a freshman at that community college, and then be guaranteed admission after graduation. So look at, 4-year institutions have those partnerships, so you can commit to those when you initially enroll. So that can help build your connection with that school too, and with that admissions office. And then is the school regionally accredited, the one you're enrolling in first, and then also the ones that you're planning to transfer to, making sure they're regionally accredited, so that can be recognized with transfer credits, but also the degree will be recognized, you know, when applying for jobs. And then tuition, again, the number, you know, two thing after how many credits will come in is what's the tuition that I'm going to be paying once I enroll at that school. Look at the tuition rates. You know, there's a different price range for in-person to online. So again, that can help make a decision for you if you're looking at one or the other. There are some price variations there with each campus. And then are there scholarships for transfer students? Some institutions offer honors organization that are meant just for transfer students, where they have scholarships built into those honors organizations, or they just have scholarships built directly for transfers. And so when you are admitted, making sure you look at those evaluations too. And like at ECU, we just started an honors college for transfer students, brand new program. And so that provides you as a transfer to universities new opportunities for scholarship to help pay for your tuition. So these are kind of the basics to remember, take a screenshot of when you're planning your phase of where should I go initially and where do I want to transfer into. And that kind of leads in, I think, to our questions page. I don't think we've had many yet, but again, we're open to questions. Type them. Again, I think we were told that each of you are muted, so you will have to type the comments.
While we're waiting for some questions to come in, I'm actually going to just flip to this final slide that we have. So through CACRAO, the same way that you registered for today's session, obviously each of us are also doing general info sessions about our institution. So if you connected with, you know, one of us today or some of the facts that were on those original contact sheets, or you want to learn a little bit more about each of the universities that we represent, these are the times and the dates of the panels and the info sessions that we're going to be doing directly through CACRAO specifically. So I'll leave this page up so that you have access to that as we wait for some questions to pop through. And it looks like we have one for you, Alex. They're asking, I want to apply to ECU by 2021. When should I apply? How do I apply? And what are the requirements?
Yes. So would you mind navigating back to my slide for ECU? They can kind of see that while I talk about it because I have the stats posted. But right now, yeah, applications for spring 2021, summer 2021, and fall 2021 are all open. You would go directly to the purple highlighted website there, admissions.ecu.edu/apply, create an ECU account. And as long as you submit your app before the 30th of this week, free of charge, no application fee. Traditionally, after the 30th, it'll be $75. But you can go ahead and submit the app for any semester you want. If you're looking at summer, I always put an asterisk next to summer because you need to know what summer term you're applying to, which means you need to know what classes you're taking. So that would be one you need to talk with us with directly. If it's spring or fall, just submit it. Then we need your official college transcript from each school you've been enrolled in, as mentioned before. So we need the official from each school. So you will request that from their registrar's office to be sent directly to us, preferably electronic if they have that option. And then we will look at, do you have a cumulative 2.0? Do you have an intro to English? And do you have at least 24 transferable credits? If you're under that 24 credit hour limit, we will ask for your high school information. We will ask for your high school transcript. We will ask for SAT and ACT scores and review off that information as a transfer applicant. But if you know you're gonna have 24 through fall and spring semester, say you're just first year right now at another institution, the transcript will show proof that you've enrolled in, you know, so many classes now, and then that you're registered for spring if you've done that already, and that will count as showing us proof you'll get 24 before you come into ECU. And then we don't have a limit on credits that will transfer in. The question really comes to what credits will be accepted by the program you're going into. ECU admissions registrars, we will take them all, yes. But how many of those will count towards your program and how many will only count as electives? That's the question to work with us on once you are admitted. And we can work with you on that. And then also the Honors College Scholarship, brand new. So if you have a 3.5, we can, if admitted, you'll get a notification that you qualify for that program, and you can submit to that scholarship, which is a little over $1,200 a year there, or sorry, $2,500 per year for transfer students. So that kind of answers that in a winded response.
Perfect. While we're waiting for a couple of other questions to come through, on that same kind of note, Jill and Nancy, do you want to give like the quick 30-second kind of requirements that your institutions are looking for as well? And I can follow up with William Peace too.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. For UNC Pembroke, we also require, if you're under the age of 21, that you submit a high school transcript if you haven't achieved 24 credit hours. Our institution requires transfer students to have a 2.0 cumulative GPA. And we also do not have a limit on the number of transferable hours, but like Alex said, you do need to make sure that they're going to fit into your program of study. One of the programs for any students that are doing associates in applied science that is probably a really good choice for you would be our Bachelor's of Interdisciplinary Studies, which is an online and on-campus program, because if you've achieved an associate in applied science, we will credit at least 30 of those hours towards that degree program. And then of course, anything that you took that meets a general education requirement would also be credited towards that degree program. So that's usually a really good option for our associate in applied science students. And also go ahead and get those applications in by October 30th so that they can be reviewed and you can get a decision. Our spring, summer, and fall 2021 applications are open.
Great, thank you, Nancy. Again, this is Jill Hilliard with Barton, and so for us in the admissions process is that I can accept you with as little as 12 transferable credits and a minimum of a 2.0. So with that, you apply. Our application is free, although it is CFNC week going on right now. Nonetheless, our application is always free. So certainly submit an application, submit your official college transcripts. We will provide you with a full evaluation on a specific check sheet for your major. So you're clearly going to see what all is transferring in and how it best applies for you. At the point of that, I'm going to be sending you a copy of that check sheet and accepting you. With acceptance comes merit-based scholarships. So I am the one that awards you merit-based scholarships based on your cumulative transfer GPA. So those scholarships go all the way up to $12,000 for the highest merit-based scholarship. At a 2.5 is where it begins, but all students, even below a 2.5, do receive some sort of transfer incentive grant there. So all the way up to $12,000. And my next question would be to you that we are partnered with Phi Theta Kappa. So if you are by chance a member of PTK at a community college, then certainly that is worth an additional $2,000 in a merit-based scholarship. So we do our very best to assist you there financially with merit-based scholarships. And then certainly a large piece of your financial aid is completing the FAFSA and making sure that you add your college's code so that our financial aid team can process those award package for you. Basically, Barton is small, like I mentioned earlier. We are an NCAA Division II with athletics. We have over 50 majors and minors with concentrations, and our average class size is around 16. So again, the application's free. If you're interested, you can take a picture of this slide. That QR code will take you directly to our application.
The computer doesn't want to let me unmute. So for William Peace, again, very similar. We would accept a transfer student or consider you a transfer student after 12 credits. I will point out too, just for everyone, if you're a high school student that's done dual enrollment or an early college program or something like that, we're going to look at that differently. You're still going to enter as a freshman because you've never been enrolled full-time as a college student previously. So even if you've earned more than 12 credits in one of those programs, keep in mind for those students, you're still going to enter as a freshman rather than a transfer student. So you'd be considered a transfer student though if you've been full-time and or part-time enrolled officially at the college level post high school graduation for at least 12 credits. We also look for a minimum of a 2.0. We accept up to 90 transfer credits because you have to take 30 here as part of the residence to graduate from William Peace. So we give you the max that we possibly can. We do also honor as a private institution the same bulk gen ed transfer pact that the state colleges in the area honor as well. So you don't lose any quite in that way either, which is great. Our system and our application process is really simple. The link to the application is right on that slide, but we're essentially looking for the application itself and then your official college transcripts. We do not require high school transcripts from you, so just the official college transcripts would be required. And this week, of course, for Free App Week, you don't have to pay for the application, or if you even missed the week's deadline, if you mentioned that you were a CACRAO attendee, we're still going to go ahead and waive that. But generally it's only $35 for an application fee. And when your acceptance goes out, very similar to Barton, which I was talking about, you get your merit scholarship at the same time. So you'll know exactly what you're earning in scholarships from that point on. Our scholarships for merit go up to $15,000. We have another PTK scholarship for $2,000. We have a number of leadership and service scholarships that are available. And of course, we have need-based grants and scholarships as well. We also have a number of articulation agreements in some specific colleges for certain community colleges that we have partnerships with. So there may be additional funds that are available through that channel as well. So we have 100% of our students that apply for financial aid receive some form of that. So don't let the cost of the private institution scare you away. It can definitely be very, very affordable in that way. And our application process, like I said, is very, very simple. So, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of kind of what each of us are generally looking for and what that process is generally like. I did see a question earlier that was asking about how to request a high school transcript. And I think that might be a good question to kind of address out loud in case there's other people that are wondering the same thing. Someone want to take that one?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to hand it off. I don't know if y'all see the responses. I'm trying to reply to them too. If you're in the state of North Carolina specifically at a public school, you can request the transcript be sent through CFNC. I also saw where there's a breakdown of what if I was at more than one high school. Each institution will probably be a little bit different with that requirement. But if all the classes are transferred over and listed on the final school you graduated from, it should suffice as all we need, but some schools may require the individual transcript from each to see exactly how the course was labeled from that school to make sure, like ECU specifically, you met MCR, which is minimum course requirements for high school graduation in the state of North Carolina. Otherwise, you can have it mailed to ECU, to the university of your choice that needs it, or if they can send electronically, that would be the preference.
In South Carolina, you're going to find that most institutions, schools that you would have graduated high school from, you're going to have to go directly to the school districts. You can't request them from your high school in South Carolina if you've been graduated more than a year. So you'll need to reach out to the school district in your area. And if you attended a high school that is now closed, because sometimes we have students in that situation, you can request your credentials directly from the South Carolina Department of Education. So you can use their website to get them from there as well.
And just to reiterate again, we don't need a high school transcript unless when you submit your college transcripts to us, we do not see that you're going to be completing that minimum number of credits on the transcript. So that's showing us the credits enrolled in. Even if they don't have a grades, the proof of you're enrolled in those classes, we're counting that towards what you'll receive before you enroll. So as long as you have those minimums for each of us, we don't need the high school transcript. So just keep that in mind.
And the other thing that's important too, if you are under that age of 21, like Alex talked about, and you're not going to have those 24 credit hours, so we're going to be reviewing your high school information. For the UNC system, we're all test optional for this year. So ACT and SAT scores won't be required. We'll just be looking for those high school documents if you're less than 24 hours and under 21. Ashley and Jill, can you talk about if y'all are going to be test optional?
Sure. So for transfers, we are always test optional. We always have been. So that's something that's going to continue. If you're finding that you might actually be a freshman applicant, we have switched permanently to a test optional. There's two pathways. So you can submit your test or you can select a test optional pathway. So you could do it either way through the admissions here. And I will also add really quick and on the transcript note too, again, going back to those students who have like dual enrollment or early college credit and things like that are coming in for those programs, generally, even if it was used as dual credit on your high school transcript, we do generally want to see the college transcript sent separately. So just kind of keeping that in mind as well, especially where for William P specifically, we don't require a high school transcript for anyone that has over 12 credits. So just as a heads up for those students, you probably will need both.
Yeah, and so at Barton, we are offering test optional for first-year students. If you're a transfer student, we don't require your test scores anyway, unless you do fall below the 12 credit hours. In that event, then I will be accepting you based on your high school information. Test scores for this year coming up are test optional. It is going to require letters of recommendation depending on your GPA if you're a first-year student. But again, you know, if you're a transfer student, certainly we don't need test scores at all. We just need your official transcripts. And I will mention that for students that are looking to transfer or even first-year students that are looking to attend college, don't forget to submit your AP scores. I know here at Barton, we do accept your AP. So certainly those are very important and sometimes students forget those. So make sure that you do submit your AP score report if you did by chance take AP classes during high school.
Perfect. And I see another question came in and they're asking, what happens if you submit an application to a university and something was missing? Does school send it back for you to complete? Does it just get rejected and then you have to reapply? How does that process work? And I'll jump in really quick on that one. So generally, I'd like to think we all pay closer attention than that. And so if we're seeing that something is missing on your application, by all means, we're going to try to reach out to you and try to make sure that we're gathering all of those documents from you right from the beginning. So ideally, you wouldn't actually be submitting any sort of application until your file is completed and we have all of the pieces essentially that we're already looking for. And by all means, you always can check in with us as well. I certainly have a lot of students that send me a quick email or give me a call to touch base, making sure, oh, I requested transcripts, you know, a week ago. I just want to make sure that they came in okay. Is there anything else that I'm missing? You can always check in and ask kind of where you're at in that process as well.
And a lot of us will have some sort of online system that you can submit your application through. So you're going to have like a check off. I know for UNC Pembroke, your Bridge to Brave portal that we use, it's going to tell you when we receive a transcript, when it was logged into your account. The other thing is, let's say you find out after you've already applied that you do owe a balance at a previous college and now you're having trouble getting that transcript. Communicate with us. If you're not going to be able to pay off that balance by the time that term starts, let us know. I know in our case, we can roll your application forward for up to a year. So if you applied for spring 2021 and you know it's going to be fall before you can get that balance paid off, just send us an email and let us know that you need to move your application to fall so you can pay off that balance.
Well, and I'll speak on behalf of Barton. We're never going to turn an application away. If for whatever reason there may be something missing or the information is incorrect, we're going to call you. We're going to find out what's going on because we do want that to be corrected. So definitely we're not going to turn it away or reject any applicant. We call new applicants anyway. We give a personal phone call to every single student that applies. So no, we would never turn an application away. We would certainly just give you a shout and shout out and find out what's going on and make sure that we've corrected that. Certainly, you're not going to complete your application until all of the documents have been submitted, but every step of the way, we communicate that with you. Hey, we're still missing a particular transcript, or you do need to submit, if you're a first-year student, you do need to get that letter of recommendation in. So, you know, we're pretty good at communicating with you.
And same at ECU, you know, your virtual application, there's a portal. We have a virtual checklist. It'll notify you what we still need after you submit an application, if we received everything, when we make a decision. So always check our application pages for each institution. Make sure that you're following along to your own applications checklist, and that'll help you before you make a call in to figure out what's missing or if your app's already made a decision on it. And then I don't know if you all want to move forward, but I see another question in our chat box. It says, do I need an associate's degree to be able to transfer? Most institutions do not require it. Again, we have minimum qualifications. So as long as you have the minimum transfer credit minimum, the GPA minimum, that's all we need to see. We do not need an associate's. But again, it's your option if you want to complete an associate's. That's something you can choose to do or apply once you are able to show proof you have the minimum qualifications on that college transcript of that GPA, and you're going to complete minimum number of credit hours before you enroll to that university. And we'll be fine with that.
Yeah, I would just add, it really is up to you and what's going to fit you the best. So for some students, it depends on your program a little bit too. If you're doing something that's highly structured right from the beginning, like say like a nursing program, for example, where there are really specific courses that you need to start taking you know, right away in your freshman year, sophomore year, to make sure that the sequences are all playing out correctly so that you're graduating on time, it might make more sense then to transfer over sooner rather than later. Whereas if you're doing something more general, or you're doing something that's part of an articulation agreement that's already built out, where you're not going to lose, you know, any time by completing your associate's degree first and then transferring, you might find that you have additional benefits by starting you know, at the community college level and completing your associates there, either because you're going to save cost from the price difference by attending community college first, or again, some of us have specific, you know, additional scholarships or opportunities for students that have that associate's degree under their belt. So it really depends kind of individually on each student what might be best and what might kind of maximize things for them. So by all means, you can always reach out really early and double check and ask us, you know, this is the major I'm thinking of, this is the type of classes that I'm looking to take, or how long I think I might be here. And we can always give you a little bit of guidance on, oh, this is a program that the sooner you transition, the better, or this is something where, you know, for costs, you know, sake, or because you're going to be eligible for different, you know, additional scholarships or things like that, an associate's degree might be a better path for you. So absolutely reach out early, even while you're working with advisors at the community college that you're at, and ask what's going to be the best option for you.
And we had another question type. I replied to it by text, but I'll talk about it too. Someone had asked about if they already submitted their 21-22 FAFSA form, but didn't include schools that now they're interested in because of this presentation. You would just go back onto your FAFSA, make sure you update your FAFSA form with the codes to the schools that you want the FAFSA to be sent to, and then resubmit it so those schools receive those documents. And that's as simple as it is. So if you need those codes, again, just reach out to us or type and we'll paste those if you need those.
Yeah, we had this question in a session yesterday. You can always go back and add additional schools, and that doesn't affect anything that you have set up for financial aid. It's not going to affect your financial aid, the current institution that you're at, or anything like that. So always feel free to go back and add an additional one if needed.
So when you're going back in on that FAFSA and adding the school's code, all you're doing is giving that college permission to process your award package for you at that particular school.
And I know we have like 30 seconds, but I just saw a quick question about reverse transfer. By all means, if you transfer early and you take courses with any of us, you certainly have the option then of transferring those courses back to your community college that you started at to earn your associates and finish that associate's degree while still moving forward for your bachelor's. So by all means, I would just encourage you to reach out to any of us that you may be interested in looking into, and we can kind of talk a little bit more detailed about that, but just to squeeze that in before we finish up for the day.
Yeah, great last note. So thank you all participants for coming and joining us today at the Virtual College Exploration Fair. Just to let you know, there will be a quick survey that you'll fill out at the end here. It's 4 questions that'll help us improve for the future. If you all want to attend more sessions, maybe those individual sessions they were talking about earlier, you can actually just go to www.cacrao.org. That's CACRAO.org. And then also the recording of this will be available on that same website within a week's time. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.